What's good? It's Woog. We were just treated to two Fight of the Year contenders within one day. And in this video, we are going to discuss Mauricio Lara's 7th round TKO over Leigh Wood in a fight that I had Leigh Wood up 5 rounds to 1 going into the 7th round. But Mauricio Lara becomes the WBA featherweight champion. And man, this was a good fight. And we knew that it was going to be an exciting fight. And we're going to get to the Neri versus Hovhannissian fight in another video. But I just want to say I was super impressed by how well Leigh Wood was able to control range and kind of keep Lara on the outside for so many of those periods and mix it up with that jab to the body. Like, I kind of underestimated Leigh Wood's ability to do that. Now, I did pick Lara to win via knockout or stoppage between the 5th and the 7th round. And I think that most of us thought that at some point in the first couple of rounds, Lara was at least going to hurt Leigh Wood. He might not drop him or stop him, but that Leigh Wood would get hurt in the first couple of rounds, which he did. He got hurt in the 2nd round, and that was the only round that I gave to Mauricio Lara, besides, the 7th, obviously. But I was so impressed by Leigh Wood's ability to jab to the body and to mix up that attack. I mean, Lara looked like he was just kind of thinking of how to gain entry. It looked like he wanted Leigh Wood to engage him, so he was kind of inviting him in. But while Leigh Wood stayed with his construct, he looked like he was winning the majority, time-wise, of each of the rounds, except for the 2nd. And when he would hurt Lara to the body, I don't love Lara's body language. I didn't love it against Emilio Sanchez. Lara will kind of nod, either shake his head affirmative or negative, when he gets hit with a good one or when he gets hit to the body. He'll kind of, stiffen up and walk away or look to the ref. And he just doesn't have the greatest poker face in some of these moments. But man, he's always dangerous when he's letting his hands go. There's always a chance that he's going to score a knockout. And you could just imagine how gutted that Nottingham crowd must have been. I mean, their guy, what looked like he was just pulling away on the scorecards. It even looked like he might stop Mauricio Lara. But there were also these moments where they would both throw a feint and then let their left hooks go at the same time. And it just seems like those are those Russian roulette moments. And that ended up being Leigh Wood's undoing in the 7th round, where his left hook came up a little bit short, and Mauricio Lara absolutely put his back into that left hook, and he got all of it. And yes, I did think that the stoppage was a little bit premature. In the moment, as I'm watching it, look, I get that Leigh Wood, he beats the 10 count. First of all, he gets flattened by the hook, and I don't know if he hit his head on the canvas, but he kind of did that lean up before he starts to get up, but he beats the 10 count. He looks like he's trying to gather his wherewithal and wits, and he's showing the ref his gloves, and then you see the towel fly in. I think it was Ben Davison who threw it in, but somebody from the corner threw in the towel. Leigh Wood protested it for a moment, but then he was a little bit understanding. And I feel like, yes, if you send Leigh Wood back out there, by the way, there were only like 10 to 15 seconds left in that round. So it's like, if you could just clinch once, hold on, let the ref kind of pry you off of him. You need to just survive those last 10 to 15 seconds. Then you've got the minute to recover. So yes, if you send Leigh Wood back out there, he is about one punch away from getting dropped again and probably hurt even worse. I mean, Josh Warrington got dropped by Lara earlier in the fight and then got obliterated, put unconscious by the end of the fight. So yeah, if there is a fighter who can do that to you and make a bad situation worse, it's Mauricio Lara. But if there is a fighter who you give a little more leash to and you give an opportunity to dig deep and to try to make it out of a bad moment, of a tough moment in a fight, I feel like that's Leigh Wood. So that's where I'm conflicted here. Yes, Mauricio Lara is dangerous. Yes, Leigh Wood was badly hurt. But yes, there were also just 10 to 15 seconds left on the clock. And yes, we saw Leigh Wood snatch victory from the jaws of defeat in 2022's Fight of the Year against Michael Conlan. Oh man, that was such an interesting fight. And again, Leigh Wood was mixing up his attacks really well. Yes, he did get hurt in the 2nd round. But by the 3rd round, it was just interesting how patient Leigh Wood was being of a counterpuncher, where because he was mixing in that jab so effectively, he just kept Mauricio Lara off balance. And, even some of these rounds that Leigh Wood was winning, Mauricio Lara was also having his moments. Like, he was doing damage to Leigh Wood with some of those hooks, even in the rounds where you give the round to Leigh Wood because he was more effective. He was landing more shots, cleaner shots, and, you know, the ring generalship and all that. Even in those rounds, there were a couple moments where it's like, oh my God, like he just, you know, Mauricio Lara just blasted Leigh Wood with another hook. And in any one of those moments, you're like, oh, any one of these could be the one that potentially sends Leigh Wood to the canvas. But you also got the impression that Leigh Wood was pulling away, again, on the scorecards, and at moments looking like he might stop Mauricio Lara. It looked like anything was on the table here, except for Mauricio Lara via decision. I felt like that ship had sailed. So this fight was super dramatic, pretty damn intense. We knew what we were going to get in this one. It was just a test of both people's wills. And, you know, I on one side, I underestimated Luis Neri, and I'm going to talk about that in a later video. I think I kind of underestimated how deep Mauricio Lara could dig. We knew how deep Leigh Wood could dig. I thought that, you know, Mauricio Lara has a lot of dog in him. I mean, if you look at his record, and, you know, he's got late stoppages as well. So I knew that he was tough. I just thought that there would be a chance for Leigh Wood to win a fight late or in the middle to late rounds, you know, if it became a battle of attrition. Again, I picked Lara to get the 5th through 7th round stoppage, somewhere in there. But man, you just have to see these things play out. And yeah, I was on the edge of my seat for most of this fight. I saw when Leigh Wood started hurting Lara to the body, where he was backing him up, and it's like, man, is Lara really weakening here? But, you know, at the end of the 6th round, I thought that I saw Leigh Wood start to hold on and weaken a bit. And yes, you did get Lara clinching, you know, holding on to Leigh Wood in a couple moments in either the 4th or 5th rounds. But yeah, the 6th, that was a very exciting round. I thought that the 5th might have ended up being one of the rounds of the year. It was either the 5th or the 6th. But yeah, Leigh Wood was holding on, I thought, by the end of the 6th. And then again, in the 7th round, they had one of those Russian roulette moments where it's like faint, both pulled the trigger, and let's see what happens. And yeah, we saw what happened. Again, I thought that it was a bit of an early stoppage given the type of fighters that we're dealing with here. But, you know, I can't make too big of an argument off of this. I mean, he did get flattened by that left hook, and he was clearly pretty dazed when he was trying to make it back to his feet. And again, Mauricio Lara is an absolute beast in there. So yeah, Mauricio Lara is the new WBA featherweight champion. This was an extremely exciting and very suspenseful fight. And it just ended in fireworks. And there were fireworks, you know, in several moments throughout the fight. Like, this is just one of those days in boxing where, you know, you're glad that you're a fan because of the level of entertainment that we were all treated to, and just the testament of the human spirit in certain fights like these. I mean, a lesser man would have succumbed to Leigh Wood, you know, taking control of the fight and, you know, and having that disciplined game plan, mixing up the attack high and low, and just having the resilience. I mean, because Leigh Wood, again, was getting rocked, but then he would make it a point to come right back and to assert control over Lara again. But again, Lara, in certain instances, only has to be right once. And yeah, he won by 7th round TKO. Leigh Wood does have the opportunity to exercise a rematch clause. He basically voiced that he wanted to do it. Eddie Hearn, you know, also revealed that there was a rematch clause. So we'll see if he gets the immediate rematch. But, you know, Josh Warrington was, you know, ringside, and I'm thinking, like, Josh Warrington just lost again to Luis Alberto Lopez. It would just seem a little bit unfair to just give Josh Warrington one opportunity after the next. I get it that he's a name in the game, but, you know, he just lost the title that he was given the opportunity to fight for in a vacant title fight against, no, not vacant, but he challenged Kiko Martinez after Kiko Martinez beat Kid Galahad. But, you know, this fight, speaking to Kid Galahad, this almost reminded me, not because of the style of fighters. Mauricio Lara and Leigh Wood are very different than Kiko Martinez and Kid Galahad. But remember when Kid Galahad was outboxing Kiko Martinez, looked like he was pulling away on the scorecard, and then Kiko Martinez just flattened Kid Galahad? That was not too dissimilar in terms of what the scorecards should have been looking like entering the 7th round. But yeah, I don't think it would be fair for Josh Warrington to jump the line and get a title opportunity in a trilogy fight against Mauricio Lara. Although you could argue they do still have unfinished business. Lara flattened and KO'd Josh Warrington in the first fight. It was stopped in the second round of their rematch because of the repeated headbutts that led to Mauricio Lara developing a cut over his eye. By the way, this fight between Wood and Lara involved a head clash that cut Leigh Wood. It's hard to determine how much it impacted the fight. I thought Leigh Wood was boxing very well after receiving that early cut in the fight. But yeah, I would rather see a rematch between Mauricio Lara and Leigh Wood than to see the trilogy fight right now between Mauricio Lara and Josh Warrington. But we'll see how this all plays out. This was a fantastic fight. I was looking forward to it for a long time, and it delivered. It delivered big time. You just feel really bad when things are going so well for a particular fighter and you see, man, the game plan's working. Oh my gosh, we're kind of taming the beast, if you will. And then the beast just unleashes a hook in one of those 50-50 moments and basically ends the fight. But let me know your thoughts on Leigh Wood versus Mauricio Lara. Were you as impressed by Leigh Wood's boxing in this one? Like, I knew that he would have the boxing edge. I didn't know that he would be able to control the fight with the boxing. Again, even when he was controlling the fight, he was still getting hit in certain moments, but there were just several more moments where it looked like he was keeping Mauricio Lara at bay. I was very impressed by that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you were into the fight talk. I'm Wood. Thanks for tuning in.